The sleek, silver-hulled ships of the Donari Empire hung in Earth's orbit like predatory fish. For centuries, the Donari had expanded their reach across the stars, conquering world after world with methodical precision. Their scouts had observed Earth for months, cataloging its resources, analyzing its defenses, and studying its inhabitants. Supreme Commander Kang stood on the command deck of his flagship, the Unyielding Fist. He gazed at the blue-green planet on the main view screen, his four-fingered hand stroking the ridge of scales along his jaw. "Another primitive world ripe for harvesting," Kang said. "Their technology is at least 2 centuries behind ours. They still burn fossil fuels and have only sent crude probes beyond their own moon." His second-in-command, Officer Kim, looked less certain. "The Intelligence Division reports some anomalies, Commander. Their communications suggest they've survived several extinction-level events. Their fiction is filled with scenarios of alien contact and planetary invasion. It's almost as if they've been preparing." Kang waved a dismissive hand. "All species imagine threats from the stars before they actually encounter them. It's a universal trait of evolving intelligence." "There's more," Kim insisted. "Their military capabilities seem deliberately understated. Our deep scans detect energy signatures that don't match their publicly known technology." Kang turned away from the screen. "Are you suggesting these humans, who haven't even colonized their neighboring planets, could pose a threat to the Donari Empire? We've conquered 37 star systems, Officer Kim. This will be the 38th. Kim bowed her head. "Of course, Commander. I merely suggest caution. Your concerns are noted. Now prepare the standard conquest protocol. I want the ultimatum broadcast in all their major languages." The Donari ships positioned themselves over major population centers, their communication arrays activated, sending signals to every television, radio, computer, and communication device on the planet. In homes, offices, and public spaces across Earth, screens flickered to show Commander Kang's scaled face and glowing yellow eyes. "People of Earth," the translation began, "I am Supreme Commander Kang of the Donari Empire. Your planet has been selected for incorporation into our dominion. Surrender your governments, resources, and a labor quota of 10% of your population. In exchange, we offer you survival and eventual citizenship within the Empire. You have 6 hours to comply before we demonstrate our power. Choose wisely." In the underground command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, military leaders from around the world gathered in emergency session. The room buzzed with tense conversations in multiple languages, though everyone understood the gravity of the situation. General Park slammed his fist on the table. "We've prepared for this day for 60 years, ever since the Roswell recovery gave us the tech edge." Admiral Joe nodded. "The orbital defense platforms are powered up but still in stealth mode. The aliens don't appear to have detected them." "What about the moon base?" asked President Han. "Fully operational," replied the NASA director. "Our reverse-engineered gravity weapons are standing by." After brief deliberation, the Earth Defense Council drafted a response. It was President Han who delivered it, her face calm despite the weight of speaking for all humanity. "To the Donari Empire, we respectfully decline your terms. Please withdraw immediately." When the message reached the Unyielding Fist, Commander Kang laughed. "They refuse. Do they understand what they face?" Officer Kim studied the response. "It seems unusually unified, Commander. Most primitive worlds fragment under threat." "A final show of solidarity before submission," Kang said. "Typical. Target the uninhabited island in the Pacific Ocean. Let's show them what happens to those who defy the Donari." The Unyielding Fist's main cannon charged, gathering energy from the ship's core. A beam of blinding light shot toward Earth, striking the small island. The resulting explosion vaporized several square kilometers, sending massive waves across the ocean. "Broadcast again," ordered Kang. "Show them the footage and repeat our demands." Before the communication could be sent, alarms blared across the command deck. "Energy signatures detected," shouted the sensor officer. "Multiple sources rising from Earth's surface and from their moon." Hidden platforms around Earth's orbit dropped their cloaking fields, sleek Angular vessels rose from secret bases on Earth's surface. From the far side of the moon, larger warships emerged. Officer Kim's eyes widened. Those ships, they're using gravitational distortion technology. That's impossible for their development level. Beams of concentrated force struck 3 Donari vessels, compressing their hulls like aluminum cans before they exploded in silent bursts of light and debris. Kang stared in disbelief. Evasive maneuvers. All ships, defensive positions. As the Donari fleet scrambled, a new transmission came from Earth. A middle-aged man in a simple military uniform appeared on screen. This is General Park of the Earth Defense Force. We've been monitoring your empire's expansion for decades. We know your tactics, your technology, and your weaknesses. We've prepared accordingly. This is your only warning. Leave our system immediately or face extinction. The transmission ended, leaving the command deck in stunned silence. Kang turned to Officer Kim, his confidence shaken for the first time. How is this possible? Their technology. They shouldn't have these capabilities. I warned you, Commander, Kim said quietly. The intelligence reports suggested anomalies. Perhaps they've had previous contacts. Another alarm sounded. The communication officer looked up with dread. Commander, we're receiving a signal from the Galactic Council. They're demanding an immediate report on the situation. Kang's scales paled. The Galactic Council rarely involved themselves in standard conquests. Something about this planet had caught their attention. Send them our battle footage, Kang ordered, and request reinforcements. This will not be a standard conquest after all. As the Donari fleet regrouped at a safer distance, Earth's defenders didn't press their advantage. They formed a protective barrier around the planet, their ships displaying technology that shouldn't exist on such a young world. Officer Kim reviewed the sensor data with growing unease. Commander, I'm detecting technology signatures from at least 3 different advanced civilizations in their defenses. It's as if they've learned from previous encounters. Kang stared at the mysterious planet, suddenly understanding why the Galactic Council had taken interest. What exactly have we stumbled upon here? As night fell across Earth, citizens looked up at the lights of battle in the sky. Unlike the panic the Donari expected, there was a strange calm. As if, somehow, humanity had always known this day would come, and had been ready for it all along. Admiral Park stood in the glass-domed command center beneath the Pacific Ocean. Holographic displays showed the positions of Earth's defenders and the retreating Donari ships. Officers from every major nation worked at their stations, their faces tense but determined. The first wave is pulling back to regroup, reported Captain Min. Satellite feeds show they're taking defensive positions behind the moon. Park nodded, her weathered face showing no emotion. At 62, she had spent most of her career preparing for this day. 40 years ago, as a young lieutenant, she had been among the first to enter the crashed alien ship in Antarctica. That discovery had changed everything. They'll call for reinforcements, Park said. We have maybe 3 days before their main fleet arrives. She turned to the communications officer. Send the signal to all outposts. Operation Diaspora is now active. Throughout the command center, several officers exchanged knowing glances. Only those with the highest clearance knew the full extent of humanity's secret preparations. What about the civilians? Asked General Song, representing the United Asian Alliance. The public still doesn't know about our off-world colonies. The time for secrecy is over, Park replied. Prepare the global broadcast. People deserve to know what we've been doing with their tax money for the past 50 years. In his quarters aboard the Unyielding Fist, Commander Kang reviewed the battle footage with growing fury. 3 ships destroyed in minutes, and the rest of his fleet forced into retreat. His career, once so promising, now hung by a thread. Officer Kim entered after a respectful knock. The Imperial fleet has received our distress call. Admiral Jun is dispatching the 7th Battle Group. They'll arrive in approximately 72 hours. Kang grunted. The humans will use that time to strengthen their defenses. There's something else, Commander. Kim hesitated. Our intelligence division accessed Galactic Council records through our emergency protocols. They found something concerning. She placed a data crystal on Kang's desk. When activated, It projected images of various alien species, some Kang recognized, others unknown even to him. The text scrolling alongside was disturbing. Earth is designated as a quarantine world. Kang read aloud. What does this mean? According to these records, at least 7 different species have attempted to conquer Earth in the past 5,000 years. None succeeded. In fact, most of the invasion forces simply disappeared. Kim's voice dropped. The Council refers to Earth as the graveyard of conquering species. Kang's scales bristled. Why wasn't this information provided before we launched the invasion? The records were sealed at the highest level, Kim explained. Even our Imperial intelligence had no access. Someone in the Council wanted this information buried. Across Earth, people gathered around screens as a unified broadcast began. For the first time, humanity learned the truth that governments had hidden for decades. Fellow citizens of Earth, began President Han, flanked by leaders from every major nation. Today, we face an extraterrestrial threat that has forced us to reveal a long-kept secret. Since 1947, when an alien craft crashed in Roswell, Earth's nations have worked together behind the scenes, pooling resources and knowledge to prepare for this day. The broadcast showed footage of underground facilities where reverse-engineered technology had been developed. It revealed the orbital defense platforms disguised as communication satellites. And most shocking of all, it displayed images of human colonies established on Mars, Europa, and even in the Proxima Centauri system. Using technology adapted from various alien encounters, we have established self-sustaining colonies beyond our solar system. President Han continued, no matter what happens here, humanity will survive. In the vast chamber of the Galactic Council, representatives from 300 species debated the unfolding crisis. The ancient Zol delegate, whose species had observed the galaxy for millennia, addressed the assembly. Once again, humans demonstrate why they have been classified as a variable species, the Zol said, its translucent body pulsing with light. Their development path defies normal patterns. They advance through crisis rather than stability. The Donari ambassador pounded his fist on the podium. The Empire demands to know why information about Earth's defenses was withheld. We have lost ships and lives to this deception. There was no deception, replied the archivist, keeper of council records. Your empire chose not to request a full species assessment before invasion, as required by council procedures. Your haste has cost you dearly. The human question must be addressed, insisted another delegate. Their hidden colonies violate expansion treaties. Treaties they never signed, the Zol countered. Humans were never officially contacted because the council could not agree on their classification. Are they a warrior species to be contained, a craftsman species to be employed, or something else entirely? Deep in the asteroid belt, a small mining outpost received encrypted orders from Earth Command. Back, the colony leader gathered his team of 30 miners in their common room. The homeworld is under attack, he announced grimly. Operation Diaspora is activated. The miners exchanged solemn looks. Though they appeared to be simple resource gatherers, each was a trained military operative. Within hours, their mining vessel had transformed into a heavily armed strike ship. Similar scenes played out across the solar system and beyond. Research stations became weapon platforms. Diplomatic outposts revealed hidden arsenals. Trade ships uncloaked military capabilities. Earth had spent decades placing its pieces on the cosmic chessboard, hidden in plain sight. 3 days later, the Donari reinforcements arrived, a massive armada of 80 warships, led by the dreadnought Imperial Dawn. They found the first wave of Donari ships still holding position behind the moon. Admiral Jun, a decorated veteran of a dozen conquest campaigns, addressed Commander Kang via hologram. Your failure is most disappointing, Commander. The Emperor himself has noticed. Kang bowed his head. Admiral, I must warn you. These humans are not what they appear. They have. Spare me your excuses, Jun interrupted. I studied the battle records. They simply caught you unprepared. A mistake I will not repeat. As the reinforcement fleet moved into attack formation, Kang's sensors detected unusual activity in the asteroid belt. Admiral, We're picking up multiple ships emerging from hiding positions throughout the system. Jum dismissed the warning. Nothing their primitive technology can muster will stand against 80 Imperial warships. But as the Donari fleet approached Earth, they did not face just the planet's defenders. Small, swift attack craft emerged from hidden bases on Mars, from Jupiter's moons, and from the asteroid belt. They struck with precision, targeting engines and weapon systems before disappearing again. It was not a battle. It was a hunt. And for the first time in the long history of the Donari Empire, they were the prey. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council stretched half a kilometer across, its domed ceiling showing the real-time movements of stars and planets throughout the known galaxy. Representatives from 317 species sat in tiered rings, each in environments tailored to their biological needs. Some breathed methane, others required high radiation, and several existed as pure energy forms contained in special fields. This emergency session had been called only 4 times in the Council's 50,000-year history. The subject, Earth. The Council elder, a Talon named Jan, floated to the central platform. His body, seeming to shift between solid and gas, glowed with a gentle blue light. At over 900 years old, he was among the few who remembered the last time Earth had caused such concern. Esteemed representatives, Jan began, his voice translated simultaneously into hundreds of languages. We face a grave situation. The Donari Empire has attacked a world under implicit council protection, and that world has responded with unexpected force. The Donari ambassador, Sol, rose from his seat. Protection. Earth was never officially designated as protected. Our intelligence showed a primitive world, suitable for standard imperial expansion. We were ambushed with technologies no level 2 civilization should possess. Murmurs spread through the chamber. A holographic display appeared in the center of the hall, showing Earth and its solar system. Jan continued calmly. For those unfamiliar with this world's history, I must provide context. Earth appears unremarkable, yet it has shaped civilizations that encountered it in ways we still do not fully understand. The display shifted to show various alien ships approaching Earth across different time periods, spanning thousands of years. The Creel attempted invasion 4,500 years ago. They never returned. The Xanthi mining fleet, 2,300 years ago, vanished without trace. The Volov battle group, just 300 years ago, reported success before all communications ceased. Sol interrupted again. Ancient history. The Donari Empire is not some primitive force easily defeated by savages. Then perhaps recent evidence will convince you, said Jan. The display changed to security footage from Donari warships. It showed human fighters boarding vessels, moving with remarkable speed and coordination. Despite facing superior technology, the humans adapted quickly, using the Donari's own weapons against them. In one sequence, a single human soldier held off a dozen Donari troops, improvising defenses from available materials and setting traps with remarkable ingenuity. The science minister, a crystalline being named Queer, approached the central platform. Our analysis of humans reveals why they are so formidable, Queer said, projecting data alongside the battle footage. Earth is what we classify as a death world. Extreme temperature variations, high gravity, intense radiation, diverse pathogens, and thousands of naturally evolved toxins. The display showed Earth's history, ice ages, meteor impacts, plagues, and natural disasters. Most intelligent species evolve on stable worlds with limited threats. Humans evolved while surviving predators, poisons, and each other. Their bodies can withstand radiation levels that would kill most council species. They can survive with limbs removed. They're blood clots to prevent bleeding. They can go weeks without food, days without water. Many representatives shifted uncomfortably. Their brains, continued Queer, evolved to detect patterns and solve problems under threat of death. They call it thinking outside the box, a skill rare among species who evolved in predictable environments. Sol pounded his fist on his console. None of this explains their advanced technology. They've barely left their own planet, yet they defeated our ships with gravity weapons and energy shields. The security director, A massive arthropod named Cho clicked his mandibles before speaking. Our investigation has uncovered disturbing evidence. For centuries, various species have been visiting Earth to study these humans. Some crashed, some were shot down. In each case, humans recovered the technology and reverse engineered it with remarkable speed. Holovideos showed warehouses filled with alien artifacts, human scientists working on strange devices, test flights of hybrid craft combining alien and human technology. They've been scavenging from the galaxy, Scholl concluded, learning from each encounter, keeping these advances hidden until needed. Ambassador Sol rose again, his voice rising in anger. Then the Council must act. The Doneri Empire claims Earth as our rightful conquest. We demand support in subjugating these dangerous primitives before they threaten galactic stability. The chamber grew quiet as the main doors opened. A single human walked in, an older man in a simple dark suit. He moved with calm purpose to the central platform. Honored representatives, said Council Elder Yan, I present Ambassador Li of Earth, granted emergency speaking rights by executive decision. Li looked around the chamber, seemingly unimpressed by the gathered alien dignitaries. When he spoke, his voice was steady and clear. Thank you for allowing me to address this assembly. I am Earth's first official representative to the Galactic Council, not by our choice, but by necessity. He turned to face Ambassador Sol directly. The Doneri Empire attacked my world without provocation. They demanded our surrender, our resources, and our people as slave labor. When we declined, they destroyed an island to demonstrate their power. Li paused, his gaze sweeping the chamber. We responded by destroying 3 of their ships and forcing the rest to retreat. Now they call for your help, claiming we tricked them. The truth is simpler. They underestimated us, as so many have before. Ambassador Li activated his own data device, projecting new images into the chamber's display. For thousands of years, visitors have come to Earth, some peaceful, some hostile. We learned from each encounter. Yes, we've kept our advances secret. History taught us that powerful civilizations often destroy what they fear. The display showed human history, wars, recoveries, advancements, and resilience. We didn't ask to join galactic society like this. We hoped for peaceful first contact. But now that we're here, know this. We didn't start this war, but we will finish it. The chamber erupted in shouts and exclamations. Several representatives stood, pointing at the display where human artifacts appeared in their own historical records, symbols on ancient buildings, unexplained technologies, and references to the adaptable ones in religious texts. A representative from the arthropoid clutch rose suddenly. The prophecy of the Starbreakers. The humans matched the description. An energy being pulsed rapidly. The warning of 17 worlds mentions beings from a blue death world. More voices joined the chaos, some fearful, others curious or angry. Council Elder Yan raised his hands for silence. As the chamber quieted, he addressed Ambassador Li directly. Your people have lived in the shadow of our civilizations, watching, learning, preparing. Now you step into the light. The question before us is, as friend or threat? Li's expression remained calm. That depends entirely on how you treat us. Humanity wishes to join galactic society as equals. We bring unique perspectives and solutions, but understand this clearly. We will never be conquered, subjugated, or treated as lesser beings. Ambassador Sol suddenly laughed, a harsh sound cutting through the tense atmosphere. Bold words from a species that can barely reach its own moon without stolen technology. Li turned to him with a slight smile. Actually, we reached Mars 3 years ago with our own technology. The colonies you detected, those were just the ones we wanted you to find. A stunned silence fell over the council chamber. In that moment, the galaxy's balance of power shifted in ways that would echo for centuries to come. Admiral Jun watched in disbelief as the massive Doneri reinforcement fleet entered Earth's solar system. What should have been a moment of triumph quickly turned to confusion. Where is Commander Kang's vanguard? He demanded, scanning the tactical displays aboard his flagship, the Imperial Dawn. The sensor officer's voice wavered. Scattered, Admiral. Some behind the Earth moon, others taking cover among the asteroids. Hiding. from primitives. Jum couldn't hide his disgust. A communication request flashed on the main screen. Commander Kang's face appeared, his scales pale with stress. Admiral, you must approach with extreme caution, Kang warned. The humans possess technologies far beyond their development level. They've already destroyed 3 of our ships and damaged 7 others. Jun sneered. Perhaps they merely expose your incompetence, Commander. The tactical officer interrupted. Admiral, we're detecting numerous small craft approaching from multiple vectors. They appear to be using stealth technology similar to our own. Jun straightened his uniform. Engage defensive systems. Prepare to demonstrate proper Imperial tactics to Commander Kang and these humans. The first wave of Earth's fighters struck with precision. They didn't target the main ships, but instead focused on communication arrays, sensor nodes, and engine stabilizers. The massive Donari vessels still functioned, but their coordination rapidly deteriorated. They're using our own tactics against us, muttered Jun's second-in-command. Targeting command and control systems first. Launch all fighters, ordered Jun. Establish a perimeter and prepare main cannons. The space around Earth erupted in lights as energy weapons fired and shields flared. Donari fighters, superior in speed and firepower, moved to intercept the human craft. For a moment, it seemed the tide would turn. Then Earth revealed its true power. From hidden bases on Mars and the Moon, larger human vessels emerged. Unlike the fighters, these ships didn't engage directly. Instead, they projected strange, rippling fields that distorted space itself. What is that technology? Demanded Jun as the readings flooded his screens. Before anyone could answer, 3 Donari destroyers caught in the field simply vanished. No explosion, no debris. They were simply gone, as if they had never existed. On the bridge of the Earth flagship Defender, General Song nodded with grim satisfaction. The dimensional phase shifters worked perfectly, targeting the next group. His science officer, Dr. Ham, monitored the readings carefully. Remember, General, we can only use this technology 5 more times before the risk of dimensional instability becomes too great. Understood. Make them count. Throughout the solar system, the battle shifted decisively in Earth's favor. The Donari, expecting an easy victory against primitives, instead found themselves facing an enemy who seemed to anticipate their every move. In the capital of the Donari Empire, Emperor Gil received the disturbing battle reports. His council of advisors watched nervously as he paced the throne room. Impossible, he muttered. No level 2 civilization could develop dimensional phasing technology. It took our scientists 3 centuries to merely theorize it. His chief scientist bowed low. Majesty, the evidence suggests the humans have been collecting and adapting technologies from multiple sources. They appear exceptionally gifted at integration and application. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. You speak of them as if they deserve admiration rather than extermination. I speak only scientific truth, Majesty. Their adaptability is remarkable. The Emperor stopped pacing and faced his war minister. This humiliation cannot stand. Prepare the Novosphere. A shocked silence fell over the council. The war minister's scales paled. The Novosphere, Majesty. But the council explicitly banned planet-killer weapons after the Zenith War. I care nothing for council restrictions, the Emperor hissed. No primitive species makes fools of the Donari Empire and lives to tell of it. Deploy the weapon immediately. In the Galactic Council chamber, the emergency session continued. New evidence had created a sensation among the representatives. The archivist, keeper of the oldest council records, projected ancient genetic sequences alongside human DNA. The similarity is undeniable, the archivist explained. Humans share 97% genetic markers with the progenitors, the guardian species believed extinct for 50,000 years. Ambassador Li remained impassive, but many council representatives reacted with shock or disbelief. The ancient Talon, Yan, drifted closer to the display. The progenitors seeded compatible life throughout the galaxy, but we believe their direct lineage lost in the cataclysm. If humans are indeed their descendants, then humanity's rapid adaptation and technological integration abilities make perfect sense finished the science minister. The progenitors were known for exactly these traits. Ambassador Sol of the Donari Empire scoffed. Convenient myths to excuse their theft of advanced technology. The progenitors are legend, nothing more. A representative from the peaceful Naran Confederation stood. Whether descended from progenitors or not, the humans have demonstrated both capability and restraint. They could have destroyed the initial Donari force completely, yet they merely disabled it. The Naran turned to Ambassador Lee. My people would welcome alliance with humanity. We offer cultural and scientific exchange. One by one, representatives from 7 other species rose to offer similar alliances. The galactic balance of power was visibly shifting. Ambassador Sol's communicator suddenly chimed. After checking the message, his expression changed to one of savage triumph. This discussion is pointless, he announced. Even now, the Novosphere approaches Earth. Soon, there will be nothing left of these troublesome humans but dust. The chamber erupted in outrage. Planet killers had been outlawed for millennia, their use considered the gravest of war crimes. Ambassador Lee remained calm. He activated his own communication device and spoke briefly before addressing the council again. The Donari Emperor believes destroying Earth will end humanity. He is mistaken. Lee projected a new display showing dozens of star systems. These are our self-sufficient colonies, established over the past 30 years. Some are known to you, others are not. The display zoomed in on various outposts, research stations, and full settlements on distant worlds. Even if Earth falls today, humanity survives, and we would remember who stood with us and who stood against us. The council elder called for an immediate vote. Within minutes, an overwhelming majority authorized emergency action. A peacekeeping fleet comprised of ships from 12 species was dispatched to intercept the Novosphere. Aboard the Imperial Dawn, Admiral Jun received the Emperor's orders with growing dread. Launch the support ship carrying the Novosphere. Ensure it reached deployment range. Accept all losses as necessary. As the weapon ship detached from the fleet, Jun's tactical officer reported, Admiral, multiple ships approaching at superluminal speeds. Configuration matches Galactic Council peacekeeping forces. Jun stared at the display, watching his career and possibly his life slipping away. The Novosphere would not reach its target before the Council ships arrived. The Emperor would blame him for the failure. In that moment, Admiral Jun made the decision that would change galactic history. He opened a channel to all remaining Donari ships. This is Admiral Jun. The deployment of a planet killer violates Council law and our own honor code. I am assuming emergency command. All vessels, target and destroy the Novosphere carrier immediately. 3 Donari cruisers fired upon the weapon ship, destroying it before it could deploy its deadly cargo. On Earth, in deep bunkers and command centers, military leaders watched these developments with cautious hope. The first interstellar war involving humanity appeared to be reaching its turning point, and somewhere in the vastness of space, the Council peacekeeping fleet arrived just in time to witness an unexpected sight. Donari ships standing down, weapons powered down, while human vessels maintained a defensive posture but refrained from further attacks. The first step toward an uneasy peace had begun. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council had never been so full. Representatives from every recognized species gathered to witness the historic peace treaty between Earth and the Donari Empire. 6 months had passed since Admiral Jun's dramatic mutiny against the Genocide Order, an act that had fractured the once mighty empire. Emperor Gil, now stripped of his powers and wearing simple civilian clothes, stood before the assembly. Next to him, Admiral Jun and the other military leaders who had refused to deploy the planet killer weapon waited for judgment. Council Elder Yan presided over the proceedings, his translucent form glowing brightly with energy. The crimes committed by the Donari leadership are clearly established. The unprovoked invasion of Earth, the attempted use of a banned planet killer weapon, and numerous violations of sentient rights. The Council's traditional punishment for such crimes is permanent exile to the prison world of Torvis. A murmur ran through the crowd. Torvis was notorious for its harsh conditions. Few survived more than a decade there. Ambassador Lee rose from his seat. In the months since first contact, he had become a respected figure in galactic politics. The people of Earth request permission to address the sentencing. Elder Yon nodded. Earth has earned the right to speak on this matter. Lee walked to the center of the chamber, facing the Donari defendants directly. The hall fell silent. Humans have a long history of conflict. Lee began. For most of our existence, we fought each other over resources, beliefs, and power. We nearly destroyed ourselves more than once, but each time we learned and grew. He paced slowly as he spoke. We discovered that punishing the defeated rarely leads to lasting peace. True stability comes from rehabilitation and reintegration. The Donari Empire must face consequences for its actions, but permanent exile serves no one. Emperor Gil looked up in surprise. Earth proposes an alternative, continued Lee. The Donari leadership will work alongside humans to rebuild the areas they damaged during the invasion. They will learn our history and culture as we learn theirs. And together, we will establish new protocols to prevent such conflicts in the future. The council chambers buzzed with discussion. The concept of rehabilitation, rather than punishment, was foreign to many species. Elder Yan raised his hands for silence. The council recognizes Earth's wisdom in this matter. The proposal is accepted. The Donari will serve 10 years in rehabilitation under Earth's supervision. As the former enemies left the chamber together, a new era in galactic politics had begun. 3 years later, Earth had transformed. The United Nations Plaza in New York now featured an addition. The Galactic Embassy Complex, where representatives from 87 species maintained diplomatic missions. Inside the largest building, delegates gathered for the inaugural conference of the Terran Cooperative, a new alliance of 23 worlds with Earth at its center. President Back, once a mining colony leader and now Earth's elected representative, opened the session. Fellow sentients, we gather today not as conquerors or the conquered, but as equals united by common goals. The Terran Cooperative stands for mutual defense, scientific advancement, and cultural exchange. Among those seated in the chamber were several Donari, including former Admiral Jun, who now served as liaison between his people and Earth. The rehabilitation program had proven more effective than anyone expected. Donari culture, once focused entirely on conquest, was gradually evolving. Our first joint initiative, continued Back, will be the establishment of the Galactic Academy of Sciences here on Earth. Researchers from all member worlds will work together, sharing knowledge freely. The announcement received enthusiastic approval. Already, the sharing of technology had led to breakthroughs in medicine, energy production, and space travel. Earth's unique ability to integrate diverse technologies had proven invaluable. In the Galactic Council, change came more slowly but just as surely. The human incident, as it was now called, had exposed flaws in the Council's structure and policies. Council Elder Yan presented the new first contact protocols to the Assembly. For too long, we have classified worlds by their technological advancement alone. The human experience teaches us that adaptability, creativity, and resilience are equally important measures of a civilization's development. The protocols required peaceful first contact with all newly discovered intelligent species, regardless of their technology level. Special provisions protected developing worlds from exploitation, while encouraging controlled cultural exchange. Furthermore, Yan continued, the Council formally recognizes Earth as a protected nexus world, acknowledging its unique position as a cultural and genetic crossroads. The vote passed with overwhelming support. The galaxy was changing, and humanity stood at the center of that change. 5 years after the invasion, the Earth War Museum opened in the rebuilt Pacific Island that had been the Donari's first target. Visitors from across the galaxy came to learn about humanity's first interstellar conflict. A Donari family, a rare sight just years ago, stood before a display showing the battle footage. The parents had been junior officers during the invasion. Now they worked as cultural liaisons, helping their people understand humans. Their child looked up at a large plaque above the main exhibit. What does that say? He asked, still learning to read human script. His father read it aloud. Throughout history, humanity's greatest strength was never our technology, but our capacity to face the impossible and refuse to yield. The mother added, It's why we respect them now. They could have destroyed us, but they chose to help us change instead. Nearby, a group of scientists, human, Donari, and several other species, discussed their latest project. They had gathered to study strange energy readings from beyond the galaxy's edge. Something was out there, moving closer. Dr. Ham, now leading Earth's scientific delegation, showed the latest readings to the team. The disturbances are increasing. Whatever it is, it's approaching faster than we thought. Former Admiral June studied the data. These energy signatures don't match anything in Donari records, nor any known species in the galaxy. The Council has authorized a joint expedition to investigate, Dr. Ham said. They want Earth to lead it. June nodded thoughtfully. 10 years ago, our peoples were enemies. Now we prepare to face the unknown together. On the observation deck above the museum, Ambassador Lee stood with Council Elder Don, watching the sunset over the Pacific Ocean. Do you believe your people are ready? Asked Jan. The entity approaching our galaxy has destroyed others before it. Lee smiled slightly. If there's one thing humans understand, it's facing threats that seem impossible to overcome. But this time, we don't face it alone. A fitting test for the new galactic order you helped create, Jan observed. As darkness fell, lights came on across the island, illuminating the museum and the mixed groups of humans and aliens walking its grounds. Ancient enemies now allies, former strangers now friends, all preparing for a challenge greater than any they have faced before. In orbit above them, a joint fleet was assembling. Ships from Earth, the reformed Donari territories, and a dozen other worlds. They would soon depart for the galaxy's edge, carrying the best of what each civilization offered. No one knew what they would find there, but one thing was certain. The universe would never be the same again. The end